Hi, I'm Cheyenne Carroll, your host of TV2 Profiles. Join us today as we're here at the Tuscarawas County Health Department to speak with the Executive Director and also Health Commissioner Katie Seward about her transition into this job, as she's only been here for less than a year. We also speak with Andy Dominic, who is in charge of the Alcohol, Drug, and Addiction program here at the Health Department, who as well has only been here for under a year. So we'll speak with them about what their transition has been like into the Health Department and the daily workings of the department here in Dover.
Well, thanks to the project architects and some computer magic, we're going to show you an aerial animation of what the emergency center will look like. As we fly around the hospital, you see the existing main entrance there on the left, and we're starting to move down as if we were driving on Hospital Drive, down around towards the back of the hospital campus. Looking straight across, our view now is of the addition to the Union Hospital existing building. There you can see the new emergency center addition, the big UH there up on the side. Below there to the back on the right side of the picture, you see where the ambulances will be bringing patients. Also, the new helipad will be located there. And as we continue to move around now to the back of the campus, you can see how the emergency patient parking lot is over there to the right. The large lots in the foreground is employee parking and also visitor parking. And as we continue our flight around to the Dover side of the building, you can see what is there right now, which is that large retaining wall, which enabled us to open the new patient parking lot. The white columns there will be the new entrance canopy. That's where cars will arrive. Patients will exit the car and go on into the emergency department, and then the driver can park in the nearby parking lot. As we come around now, headed out back towards the boulevard on Medical Park Drive, you can see the hospital laboratory there in the foreground and the turn where you go up to enter. All of this coming, the new emergency center coming in 2016.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website, where everything's local.
Hi, and welcome to TV2 Profiles. I'm your host, Cheyenne Carroll. Well, today we are at the Tuscarawas County Health Department, and first of all, we're speaking with Andy Dominic. And Andy is in charge of the Alcohol, Drug, and Addiction program here at the Health Department. So, Andy, welcome to the program today.
Thank you very much. Glad you're here.
Yeah, well, tell me a little bit about the program and what it is that you do as the director, first of all.
Sure. The Alcohol and Addiction program has been here in the Health Department for more than 30 years. What we do is we treat the person suffering from a drug and alcohol problem. So we treat them, meaning they have individual counseling, group counseling, intensive therapy. We also like to have the family involved as well, because why get somebody well, bring them here to get them well, and then send them home to still the broken family system. And as the director, I just ensure that we're following all the regulations, because we have to be certified through the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Drug Addiction Services. And there are certain regulations that you do have to follow by the Ohio Administrative Code. So ensuring that gets taken place, that the clients are receiving the best care possible, that the counselors are doing everything that they need to be doing, budgeting issues, things of that nature.
And you had mentioned families, and really, drugs and alcohol, it really does affect the entire family, whether that's children or, someone's parents.
Oh, most definitely. It's a family illness, and I think many people forget that and don't want to consider that aspect, but it really takes a family to kind of build the addict, and it also takes a family to keep the addict well.
And you've been here just under a year, correct? You're fairly new to this position. So tell me kind of how you got into this field. Was it something that you knew in high school you wanted to get involved? Something had to have sparked your interest.
Sure. Yeah, I started here in August, and I was happy to return home here to Tuscarawas County because most of my professional life I've worked in Stark or Summit County. And when the position became available, I thought, it's time to return home. I really did not know what I wanted to do when I graduated from high school. I went to Mount Union, go Purple Raiders, graduated with a religion major, actually, and I wanted to save the world, and I did missionary work. And then when I came home from Africa, I got into the healthcare world. And then my mother said to me, Andrea, go get your master's. The time is going to pass anyways. So I got it in counseling, and I was working at Edwin Shaw Rehab in Akron at the time, and actually I feel God called me to this kind of role, this kind of career. I don't look at it as a job. I'm just so passionate about helping addicts and helping their families.
You talked about wanting to save the world, but I'm sure you really are saving some people here that need your assistance.
Many clients have said, yay, you saved my life. And I said, I just help. They have to want to be saved or healed or in recovery. So yes, it can be very rewarding, but it can also be very, very sad.
It probably is an emotional job occasionally. You have your ups, you have your downs, I'm sure.
Oh, most definitely, especially if you hear about a client who had, dropped out of treatment, was unsuccessful in the treatment program, and then later dies because of a direct result of their drug and alcohol addiction.
And what's the demographic like for your clientele? Do you have a lot of younger clients or, even into the 40s, 50s, 60s that are dealing with drugs and alcohol and addiction problems?
I find that most people aren't well educated on the demographics of addiction. We have 18-year-olds, we have 20-year-olds, 30s, up into our 70s even. So it's really not just a specific age group.
And can we educate a little bit more so people understand addiction and how maybe to prevent that? Or is that something that's a learned behavior? If you grow up in a family that has drugs and alcohol around and it becomes an issue, is that something you just fall into or can you choose?
There are certain risk factors. Yes, there's choice involved. However, there are certain risk factors that if they are present, then more than likely the child or the young adult will turn into being an addict. Prevention, it really does start young, very young. It starts with families understanding certain kinds of behaviors, families reaching out, people who are gatekeepers, coaches, student or teachers, them recognizing certain high-risk behaviors or things that just don't seem okay. They also need to be intervening in ensuring that the student, the child, the young adult gets help.
And I know lately we've been hearing a lot about heroin and methamphetamine. Are those two things that you're really seeing a lot of here locally? Are there any specific trends?
We certainly see more alcohol use and spice and marijuana use. And yes, the heroin and the methamphetamines certainly keep, rising up, and they are on the rise.
And tell me a little bit more about yourself. You told me about your college life, but you also have a family around here, and I'm sure you're involved in the community as well.
Most definitely. I have a 15-and-a-half-year-old daughter, Maggie. She goes to Central Catholic. She's the love of my life. I'm so blessed and proud to be her mother. And we live with my mother, and we're a very close-knit family, Italian Catholic family. We've grown up here in this community all of our lives, and pretty much that's what I do with my life is work and my daughter.
Yeah. And I'm sure that was kind of hard, but you were welcomed back home, right? Living in Stark County for a little while and having your job there and then coming back here to Tuscarawas County, it has to be a good feeling.
Oh, it's most definitely a great feeling. We have such an extensive family here in this area, so it's always home, so that's a good thing.
Okay. Now, one last thing about the alcohol, drug, and addiction program here at the County Health Department. Say we need some help. Do we call? Do we come in? How do we get associated with your group of counselors?
Most definitely. You can call and or stop by. We appreciate those drop by persons who are like, look, I'm at my wits and I do not know what to do. We see a lot of family members too coming by, calling, saying, I don't know what to do. Who do I go to?
Andy, anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Again, that's Andy Dominic here at the Tuscarawas County Health Department. She is the director of the Alcohol, Drug, and Addiction Program here. So thanks again, Andy. And for TV2 Profiles, I'm Cheyenne Carroll.
think I was in elementary school when you decide, oh, I want to be a teacher when I grow up.
When I came in as a junior, my very first day, I was a very quiet, shy girl.
I wasn't sure where I wanted to be or what I was going to do. And I wanted to learn a trade that I could make maximum money and something that I was in control of my own destiny. When I saw the masonry program, I really fell in love with it. Something that was outside, hands-on. It was hard work. It really fit my style.
Instead of learning from a textbook, you get the opportunity to actually learn on the job, hands-on, which is great.
It's not just someone behind the desk, but it's someone that actually goes out and does the work. They actually turn the wrenches, or they actually go out and they work in construction. And it opens the doors up for the student to allow them some real-world experiences they might not have if they didn't take that class.
What was great with our class is that, there were 18 of us. We all had different backgrounds, came from different environments.
We were a team. We all worked independently. However, we worked with each other.
And we all just kind of were encouragement to each other and gave each other ideas and became a family in our lab.
It really helped me to open up as a person and really gave me the confidence I needed to be successful in my career today.
I was an athlete at the homeschool. We were still involved with our homeschool activities, our pep rallies, and all the activities that take place at the homeschool. We were not shut out or alienated.
You have the opportunity, here at Buckeye, you get involved with a club, you learn some leadership skills, and really share that leadership out in the community.
And you never know in which way you're going to use it and how it'll open up doors for you.
A lot of people were saying, oh, if you go to Buckeye, you can't go to college. Well, I'm sitting here in front of you working on my master's degree. So that's not true.
Use the skills you're learning as your work ethic. There's absolutely no limits.
Omni Orthopedics comprehensive programs provide early diagnosis and successful treatment for every musculoskeletal problem. With more than 30 years of orthopedic experience, their physicians offer patient-centered treatment for all ages. From evaluation to rehabilitation, your treatment plan is designed around your needs. Omni Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, the spine, physical medicine and rehabilitation, foot and ankle, and hand surgery. If pain makes activities like climbing stairs, standing or walking a challenge, turn to the home team at Omni Orthopedics. Their mission is to provide you with the highest quality and most advanced orthopedic services so you can get back in the game. Located in the Oxford Medical Arts Building, Omni offers a full-service facility including digital x-ray and physical therapy. So there's no need to travel when quality care is so close to home. Omni Orthopedics, setting the standard in orthopedic care.
Brilliantly practical scientist Harriet Tuttle's search for a more efficient life concluded with an unorthodox solution. Harriet created 4 more Harriets. Together they were a model of efficiency. However, while identical, they had their own interests and their own retirement plans, each customized with a Raymond James financial advisor, allowing them to enjoy life separately and together. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
I'm John Maselli, and I would like to welcome you to the Sunnyside Store restaurant. Since 1999, we have served over 500,000 meals. We specialize in steak, pasta, and the patron special, ribs. The Sunnyside Store is located at 5495 North Worcester Avenue in Peral. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday, we open at 9 a.m. for breakfast. For more information or to schedule an event in the banquet room for groups of 40 or smaller, call 330-364-5474. This is John Maselli inviting you to the Sunnyside Store restaurant.
Welcome back to TV2 Profiles. I'm your host, Cheyenne Carroll. Well, we continue our interviews today at the Tuscarora-West County Health Department, and now I have the new director, the executive director, who is also the health commissioner, Katie Seward. And Katie is also pretty brand new to this position. She's been in it since what, the summertime?
Yeah, so in August, I accepted the position as executive director, the 1st of August. And then in November is when they consolidated the roles of executive director and health commissioner into one. So kind of really as health commissioner in November and then executive director in August.
And tell me a little bit about adding those two positions. What exactly do you do? I understand, the executive director's position, but now you're also the health commissioner. So talk about on a daily basis what your job is.
A lot, but in terms of the consolidation of the two roles with the executive director position, that is more kind of handling the day-to-day operations of the health department, dealing with personnel issues, hiring, and making sure that all the roles are filled here at the health department. Where then the health commissioner deals with more of the awareness aspects, the disease investigation, disease control. When we had the TB outbreak, for example, that was more the health commissioner role to ensure that there was control with that and that the appropriate persons were treated. During the Ebola contact monitoring, a health commissioner responsibility as well. So I find it a little bit difficult to manage the two hats on a equivocal basis. I find that oftentimes I have to handle the day-to-day things here as the health executive director, and then in more of the evening hours is when I do some of the health commissioner work.
And why did the health board decide to do that? Because they were two separate positions, so why make it one?
They looked a lot at different structures around the state for different health departments, and there are a lot of different types of organizational charts. Oftentimes, there is only one position that is considered the health commissioner, and not so much an executive director position. Now, the Tuscarawas County Health Department is unique because it's a relatively large health department. And so what had happened, in my understanding historically, is that in the past, the person who held the position as executive director did not have the credentials provided by the Ohio Revised Code to satisfy what the state says a health commissioner must have. So in the past, they had those two separate positions. And when they initially sought out an executive director, one of the things that they were very clear about during the interview process was that they were looking for someone that eventually could take over as health commissioner and combine the two roles. And I think moving forward with the accreditation process, which is mandated by the state, that structure is what they like to see.
And you mentioned your credentials, so tell me a little bit about yourself. We share being from Coshocton County, also Mount Union. That's kind of the theme of the show today, all three Mount Union grads. Tell me a little bit about yourself then.
Absolutely. So I am a Coshocton native, born and raised there. Graduated from high school in 2004 and went to the University of Mount Union. Now it was Mount Union College when I went, and graduated in 2008 with a major in health and minors in multi-age education and psychology. And the way that the structure of the health program was at the time was that most of the people who were going into health were going to do so to teach health in the schools. And my mentor, who was the director of the program, Dr. Beth Canfield-Simbro, had her PhD in public health. And so when I was exploring options, she really kind of opened up that world to me that said, there is another option. If you don't want to do health education, there's this public health world. And so I became involved in some of the programs at the YMCA in Alliance, spoke with the local health departments, and that's where I found my passion. I was like, yes, that's what I want to do. So after college at Mount Union, I went directly into my master's program at The Ohio State University and graduated with my master's in public health, with specializations in health behavior and health promotion, and that was in 2010.
Moving very fastly, and you're still young, and to be a woman and hold the executive director's position plus the health commissioner, was that overwhelming for you to take on such a big role, and move to Tuscarora-West County? Was it a little difficult?
Actually, I was very well received here. All of the directors were very welcoming, and most of them, aside from the Alcohol and Addiction Program Director, had been here for a while, so they kind of knew the historical trends of the health department. But, I've never shied back from a challenge, and that's one of the things that the board had asked me is, are you ready to take on this challenge? And I said, well, I haven't found one that I'm not able to conquer yet, so I wasn't going to let this one be it. But being well received by the employees here and the community as well has been very helpful.
Do you find your age or being a woman a difficulty for you? Is that a struggle at all, or do people accept that?
I really haven't run into it so much. And I guess maybe it's something that I never really let enter my mind as, being young is I can do everything else that everyone else can do, or being a woman. And I think that's very fortunate because, 20, 30, 40 years ago, a lot of women wouldn't have the opportunity to have this position. So I'm fortunate that I don't even think about that.
There are a lot of women here in the health department, obviously some great men as well, but throughout the nurses and the different clinics and things. So it seems like you have this place, running correctly. There were so many people when we walked in the lobby today, so your busy numbers are up as well, I'm guessing.
Yes. So one of the things that I'm most concerned about is productivity and setting goals. And so one of the things that I looked at just recently, we had the District Advisory Council meeting. I looked at our numbers from 2014, and then I went back and looked at our historical 5-year averages, and I set goals for each department. And I think that while some of the things we can't always control, such as the number of food license issues and things like that, it's important to keep a tab on those and look at that periodically throughout the year to make sure we're on track and seeing the same numbers and our productivity is high.
And you had mentioned the TB and the Ebola outbreaks or monitoring. I don't want to say outbreaks, but the monitoring that's been going on. Has that been difficult for your staff to come up with the funding and the time to take care of those things as well as their duties here at the health department on a daily basis?
Well, one of the things that is a joke, not only here in the county, but also at the state level, because we work closely with the Ohio Department of Health Tuberculosis Control Unit, is that I've been baptized by fire. That I think that anything that could have potentially happened in my first few months did. So in terms of the tuberculosis outbreak, which it was to some extent, we are named the Tuberculosis Control Unit by the county commissioners. We are responsible for the control, the monitoring for the whole county of Tuscarawas. And so we do get a small stipend from the county commissioners to ensure that we do that properly every year. But because this contact investigation was so extensive, we spent about $17,000. And so I think one of the best things that we have here is our levy, our general health levy. And I think that enables us to do a lot of things for the community because we don't have to worry about funding. In terms of the Ebola contact monitoring, that was just something that the nurses said, we'll do it, no problem. And that's one of the things that I have found here is that they weren't afraid to shy down from any type of challenge that came. And we are looking to get some funding from the state for the individuals that we have monitored for Ebola. There is some supplemental funding coming down for our public health emergency preparedness grant to develop regional Ebola plans and things like that. So again, we are fortunate to not have to worry about funding as some counties do struggle with that.
So like you said, hectic first few months for you here on the job when you started. Any goals that you have for the immediate future within the next 5 years for the health department?
Sure. So one of the things that we're really working towards is the accreditation process. It is a very extensive process. The state of Ohio has said that all health departments in the state must at least apply for accreditation by 2018 and then be accredited by 2020. We're starting to see more and more health departments across the state pop up as accredited, and I think that's a good thing because it gives us a resource. And most of the health commissioners and the accreditation coordinators across the state who have successfully completed accreditation has said, come to us, we'll be happy to share the resources that we have. There's over 340 supporting documents necessary for the accreditation process, and we have some of them, but we don't have a lot of them. So it's looking to see what we need to create and what we need to develop, but I do truly believe that this process will only make us a better, more productive health department, and so in the end, it's all for the good.
All right, well, there you have it. That's Katie Seward. She is the executive director and also the health commissioner here at the Tuscarawas County Health Department. And for TV2 Profiles, I'm your host, Cheyenne Carroll.